Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, I'm doing this next. I've already been on and done a live this morning to tell you about Gus Lamont and the developments there in that case. Check that video out if you get a chance, if you're interested in little Gus's case. And then I wanted to get on and tell you before I start work, before I start my Spanish classes. For those of you who know me, you know I'm a Spanish teacher in my other life. Just wanted to give you an update on this other horrible case, mysterious case that involves the other end of the vulnerability spectrum. So, of course, the Gus Lamont case is about a 4-year-old boy who went missing. Children are the most vulnerable people in our society, but alongside them are elderly people who are also so vulnerable. And children and elderly people often become victims of crime for that very reason. They're easy to control, aren't they? These big bad men and women who think they're it and think they're, tough. They like to pick on children and old people because that's the only thing that they're capable of sort of dominating. They're the only type of people they're capable of dominating. Anyway, we still don't know. It's sort of still unclear what's really going on in this case. This is the case of Nancy Guthrie. This case is taking place in Arizona, in America. And poor Nancy was literally, according to the police, ripped out of her bed in the early hours of the morning. So this lady, what they think is, because apparently they think it happened, round about 2, 3 in the morning. This lady was asleep, in bed asleep, and the police say she was taken forcibly from her home because they say she did not do it of her own volition because she's got mobility problems. Also, she has no problems mental capacity. It wasn't a question of an elderly person wandering away because they've got dementia, etc. Also, there was blood found in and around the property. We don't know yet if that was Nancy's blood or maybe the perpetrator's blood. We don't know. Those details haven't been released. And the other reason why this case, apart from the fact that it's just horrible that an 84-year-old woman would be abducted from her own bed in the middle of the night. I mean, to me, I just keep thinking, imagine, you get to 84, you've lived through God knows what, that's a long life. And it won't have all been plain sailing. She'll have gone through challenges and difficulties, and you've come all that way, come all that far. There you are, 84. You should be able to relax in your bed, and somebody comes in the middle of the night and takes you away. And there's a lot of concern for Nancy because she takes medication that she needs to stay alive, apparently. So she hasn't taken, nothing's gone with her. Her medication's not with her phone, her purse, etc. There's nothing. So it doesn't seem likely that Nancy left of her own volition, does it? Now that just, while I'm just thinking, I don't think I've set up this properly. I just need to do a little bit of setting up. Um, so yeah, this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the latest in this case, which basically is that now after 4 days, which is, it's quite a long time. It may even be 5 by now. That Nancy has been missing. A ransom note has been received, but the ransom note was received, I think, by TMZ, which is like a magazine type news, Hollywood type news. All the Hollywood news is on there. and it was received by them. It's been passed to the police, and the police have not confirmed yet if it is a genuine ransom note or not. They don't know yet. They're looking into it. As we know, a lot of crazies come out the woodwork, don't they, in cases like this, especially because the other significant thing in this case is that Nancy's daughter is Savannah Guthrie, who is a news anchor, a famous news anchor in America. So, that also, wouldn't it, the connection between Nancy and her daughter, initially led people to think, because the thing is, you've got to think, why would someone kidnap an 84-year-old woman? What is now in the ransom note, they've asked for money, if it's a genuine ransom note. But then there was, there's been sort of speculation that it could be something political. Maybe Nancy's daughter Savannah said something that somebody didn't like when they were watching the news. These things happen. Maybe something that somebody didn't agree with. People do things for less reasons, don't they? Anyway, we don't know, or is it that was Nancy? Is it nothing to do with Savannah? Was Nancy just unlucky that the person, whoever it was, managed to get into her house? Now the door was forced open. It was left wide open when they left the property. They must have put Nancy into a vehicle because, as I say, her mobility wasn't good, and there were signs that she'd suffered some sort of attack. So they must have put her into a vehicle. Anyway, the police are investigating it, but as usual, the police cannot keep up with social media, can they? So I'm going to tell you about what the social media is saying, as opposed to what official sources are saying. Also, we're going to look at the appeal from Savannah Guthrie and the rest of Nancy Guthrie's family to the kidnappers. They have put out a video appeal saying they're ready to talk, but they want proof of life. They want proof that this person, whoever it is, does have Nancy. And we're going to talk about what the sheriff has to say, what social media has to say. So first of all, I just want to say thank you because, thank you to all of you for watching, for liking, subscribing, and what I forgot to say in my previous video. Hi, lovely lurgers. Hi, replay crew. Big thank you to my members. Tonight is Members Live, exclusive Members Live. So if you want to join in with that, please become a member. I also want to say thank you. Somebody just sent me a Ko-fi in between these two videos. Thank you, Maria, for the Ko-fi. And those of you who watch my channel regularly, I'm saving up my pennies for a new computer because my computer blew up early in the new year. And I'm on this laptop now, which is all right. I mean, I'm managing to do the streams at least, but they're not, it's a bit laggy and a bit slow. But so, yeah, thank you to all of you that donated towards that so far. What else do I want to say? Yeah, that's it. And no one's in the chat at the moment. I know I'm probably catching people out because I'm just doing these impromptu lives, but you know what I've found is when I try and plan lives, some disaster happens. So I think I'm better to just come on when I've got an opportunity. And there's so many cases that I want to talk about. I've got updates on the Jack and Lily Sullivan case to tell you about. I want to talk about the inquest for Noah Donohoe in Northern Ireland and for Ziello Maraliva, I think it is, Marativo, in the UK. There's always something to tell you, and I like to keep updated on cases that I'm covering. I know you like to know, the outcomes and things. So anyway, and this is one that I'm going to stick with, and we'll let you know whenever new details come through. So let's just look where we were last time. So last time I did a video about Nancy. I was showing you the News Nation reporter Brian Entin. He actually went to the property, and the crime scene tape had been removed. So he went right up to the door. He took a video of the blood on the doorstep, etc. He was right there at the crime scene, but the crime scene tape had been removed. So supposedly, you think from that the police have finished, done whatever, but really now when I think about it, it is strange, isn't it? Because it's not a case that's been resolved. Like, I could understand them taking the crime scene tape down when they found Nancy, especially, but even then there's still, things that could be processed. But anyway, they didn't. They took the tape down. Brian Entin went right up to the door, took a video of the blood, probably stood in it all. So his DNA will be all over it now. Anyway, after that sort of video came out, now he was back reporting that the crime scene tape has gone back up again. So the police have been back up there with the crime scene tape and sealed it all again. But they really should never have unsealed it, should they? So soon into the case. I mean, it's only 4 or 5 days, and nobody knows where Nancy is still. So it's not as if it's a resolved case, a cold case, an old case. Not even a couple of weeks old, not even 1 week old. And this poor lady, this 84-year-old lady, vulnerable, frail, dependent on medication, where is she? Anyway, so that's the news on that. The crime scene tape has gone back up again. And I expect they regret ever taking it down, because as soon as they took it down, haven't the police realised the age that we live in now yet? I mean, it's not, it's been like this for a couple of years now, isn't it? There are investigative journalists out there, gonzo journalists, whatever you want to call them, social media journalists, but they're there and they're going to these places and taking videos. And if they can go right up to the door and take a video of the blood on the doorstep, you just got to face facts. They're going to do it. It's not a question of whether you think it's right or not. They're going to do it. There's no crime scene tape up. Where it's not trespassing then, is it? It's not, so please have got to catch up with this kind of thing. They can't keep pretending that social media doesn't exist. They've got to try and work a bit better with social media, I think, or just try and deal with it. And I think they need a special department for dealing with social media, personally. Because the other complication that's occurred in this case is another reporter from News Nation, another gonzo journalist, or whatever you want to call them, Ashley Banfield. She put out a video saying that according to her sources, Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law was prime suspect. That one of Nancy Guthrie's daughters, not the news anchor, Savannah, the other daughter, her husband, was the prime suspect. So then the police came out and said, no, we don't have any suspects. So they've come out and poo-pooed that. Which if I don't know what the truth is, whether he is a suspect or he isn't. Ashley Banfield, I mean, she is a social media gonzo journalist, if you like, but she's normally quite reliable. She's not a person that, there are some YouTube channels that I watch and I think, what a load of crap, they do talk a load of rubbish, some of them. But Ashley's not one of them. She's normally got quite good sources, and what she says is normally turns out to be correct. But anyway, the police are saying, no, we don't have a suspect. Nobody's a suspect. That shouldn't have been said. So, you pay your money, you take your choice. It's one of those scenarios. Will Ashley be proven right? And it sort of makes sense that maybe somebody in the family, somebody's gone to that home, they know the layout of the home, because the cameras were taken, the door, of course, was broken into, and the CCTV cameras were gone. And Brian Ensign, when he went there, he said he thought maybe the police had taken the cameras. But we just don't know. Did the perpetrator take the cameras or did the police take them? Who knows? And that's what's making this case, because it's so mysterious. First of all, why would you even kidnap an 84-year-old woman? Or did they know she had money? Or, I don't even know that she has got money. I mean, she's probably got some money. Did they take her off to the cash point to make her take money out? Or, apparently this ransom note, they're asking for Bitcoin, for payment in Bitcoin. So before we're going to look at the appeal we'll look at that first. We'll look at the appeal that Savannah and the rest of the family have put out to the kidnapper. We'll have a look what they had to say. It's quite an emotional message. Savannah put this out on her Instagram page. I'm just going to come back and make sure it's showing. Let me see. Yeah, so Savannah put this out on her Instagram page. Let's have a look what she had to say.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She's funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives.
So you can see she's appealing directly to the kidnapper. Talk to her and you'll see. So this reminds me, I don't know if you ever watched the film Silence of the Lambs, when the politician's daughter was kidnapped by the perpetrator, and when she did her appeal, the mother did the appeal. So it was a politician's daughter, and she went on and did an appeal, and they said to her, you have to, if somebody's kidnapped, because it does happen. I don't know if that's what's happened in this case. It hasn't been confirmed yet that this is genuine or not. The kidnapping is genuine, or is this someone just, because unfortunately people do these ridiculous things and say they've kidnapped someone when it could be that it's complete, red herring, like, just some idiot clamoring for attention. Remember the Yorkshire Ripper case in the UK? You had the guy who had nothing to do with the murders, sending tapes to the police that led them off on the wrong track, thinking he was a Geordie because it was a Geordie accent. That's a Newcastle accent, for those who don't know. People do these crazy things. So, but if Nancy genuinely has been kidnapped, it's important to try and make the kidnapper think of her as a person, not just a commodity, to get money off. Yeah, for there to be a successful outcome where Nancy's still alive at the end of whatever happens. If she has been kidnapped, there's a chance, that she will be returned alive. But the thing is, you have to make the kidnapper look on her as a person and not just a commodity, because otherwise, quite often in kidnap situations, once the person's got what they asked for, they don't always return the person alive, unfortunately, sadly. But if they've got to know them as a person, it's harder, because probably someone who kidnaps someone isn't a natural murderer. It's not, they've not kidnapped them as a serial killer, and that's the whole purpose of kidnapping them, because they're a killer. They're probably not, and so they can be appealed. They're trying to appeal to their better side, if you like. I mean, it's still a pretty horrible thing to do, to kidnap an 84-year-old woman, but murder is a different thing. It's not easy to kill someone. So especially if you're starting to think of them, as a person, as a real person with feelings, not just, some commodity that you've got and you can throw it away just like you'd throw a tissue away or whatever. So, that's what they're doing, is they're trying to, talk about their mum as for the person she is, so it makes it harder, hopefully, for the kidnapper, whoever it is, if it's true that she's been kidnapped, makes it harder for them to harm her. That's the intention, isn't it?
Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day, despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief. We are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom.
No.
Mama.
No.
Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old.
Yeah.
Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love you.
Well, so that's very emotional plea, isn't it, by the family? Where is this lady? And let's have a look. Let's have a look at what the details are in the ransom note, or at least what we know they are. You know, so I feel like the police are not dealing with this very well now because of this crime scene thing. I don't see the point in taking down the crime scene tape and then a load of journalists go in there and trampling all over it and then just thinking, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done that. That's not a very good, it doesn't inspire with confidence, does it, for them? For the way sheriff confirms ransom note is now part of Nancy Guthrie. Revealed inside alleged ransom note, which will be the best one. Let's have a look at the TMZ one. So it's to TMZ that the actual ransom note went to. I'm sorry, I'm just setting it up. It won't be a set. It keeps popping up on my. What's behind it? Oh God! Come on! I don't want to see more. I want to see less. Oh my God! It's just blocking my whole screen. Hang on. Okay. I think it should be okay now. Let's see. Yep. Okay. I just need to share it now. Right. Right, I just share this and then we'll be able to watch it. Hopefully they'll say, what's actually in the note. Make sure it's sharing. Oh, let's put it, add it to stage. Okay, you can see it now. Let's play.
The announcement of the kidnapping mystery unfolding in Tucson, Arizona that has people across the country wondering, they're on edge. We're talking, of course, about Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Nancy's been missing for 4 days now, and police say blood was found at her home. There's just so many questions surrounding this, and now I'm joined live by TMZ host and executive producer Charles Laboutier. And TMZ has been on the forefront of this reporting. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You actually got an email sent to you that appeared to be a ransom note. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was very startling. Yesterday, around 11 o'clock, in the 11 o'clock hour yesterday, we got this email. We took it very seriously because there were things in it that made it clear this could be a legitimate ransom note. We immediately contacted the Pima County Sheriff's Department, spoke to investigators there, and passed along that information. Before we published our story about this. We talked about it on TMZ Live, obviously. Now, we gave police all of the information from the note. We didn't put a lot of the details out there. It's to say that, and this is the reason we thought that it could be legit, there was a mention of, and they mentioned certain things that would be known to be in Nancy's home. We cannot confirm whether those things actually were in the home, but I think it's clear the reason they put it in the note, they wanted the authorities to know that they're legit. So obviously the police will know whether those things were real or not. But I can tell you that the police, they announced yesterday that they are taking it very seriously. They're tracking it down, hoping that there's a lead. as a sign of how serious they're we got a call from the FBI, and we spoke with agent as well as Pima County detectives were on the line at the same time, and they just wanted whatever information we had about where this came from, and because obviously they're trying to track down who could possibly have sent this if it is indeed legit.
Sure, and tell us about how the decision-making process played, because this note on Monday, you hand it over to police right away. Now, whether or not to make that public is another decision-making process that you and your team at TMZ goes through. Tell us about the thought process there about saying that you received this note and what a little bit of the details that the note contained.
Well, we didn't want to put the details out there because we're aware of, the fact that could impact the investigation. It seems like something the police would not want out there, although they did not make any requests to us. They didn't say, please don't put this out or anything like that. Nothing at all. They were grateful for the information and the possibility of a lead. Our decision to report that we had received this, we're covering a news story just like every other news organization, including NBC, in the country. So that was the thought process. Obviously, we were going to be responsible about the amount of information we put out there, but one of the things that I've heard law enforcement say, in fact, the sheriff was on NBC this morning and said, we do believe that she is alive. I think part of the reason people can have hope is if this note that we got is legitimate, that she is alive, and that there is an opportunity here for.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, it's probably the first, because it's taken so long for this ransom note. If this ransom note is authentic, it's unusual. It's unusual for a kidnapper to wait 4 or 5 days before they send a ransom note. Because at the end of the day, Nancy, bless her, she's very vulnerable. She's got heart problems. They've taken her, whoever's taken her, taken her without her medication. There's nothing. So she's susceptible, unless she's been looked after really well, for a lady as old as that, and not only that, frail. So she's not 84 in good health. She's 84 in bad health. So it is a good sign if it's true. If this ransom note is authentic, I hope and pray to God it is, and Nancy is okay somewhere. That poor woman, what she must be going through. I hope they're looking after her. But the thing is it true? Isn't it? Is it authentic? I mean, I could send an email to TMZ tomorrow and say, I've got Nancy Guthrie, and if I hid my, people who know how to hide their email addresses, I imagine the police are trying to trace that email back as we speak. But, people make false claims. So that'll be, we hope it is a genuine ransom note, because if it is a genuine ransom note, this lady is still alive.
If police can track down the person who sent it, that there can be a good outcome for this whole drama and this horrible ordeal that the Guthrie family is going through.
That certainly is the hope, and we are hearing reports that KOLD, a local affiliate in the Tucson area, also got a ransom note handed over to them. Whether it was emailed or sent to the newsroom, it's unclear at this point. But what are you hearing elsewise about this investigation? Could there be a possible suspect or somebody possibly involved in this? Because we know there have been some reports circulating that Savannah's brother-in-law's name has come up. But of course, so much information is just swirling around all this.
Yeah, the police this morning denied that report that came out last night, claiming that one of Savannah's family members was a prime suspect. The police said, we do not have a suspect, prime or otherwise. They said, we do not have person of interest at this point. And they continue to track down all the evidence they can, and they're waiting for some forensic results. Part of that report that came out last night was said that the family member's car had been impounded. The police told us this morning that they don't know where that information is coming from, and they impounded vehicles. So it just seems like there's a lot of stuff being, discussed out there. Some of it may be.
Yeah, terrible, isn't it, really? Because if that isn't true about the brother-in-law being a suspect, Ashley Banfield actually gave out his name, and look, there was a photo of him. If that's not true, that's terrible, isn't it? But I believe that Ashley has doubled down on her claims, said that she believes, she trusts her sources that have said that the car was impounded and the suspect is the brother-in-law. So who do you believe? But the police you don't know if the police are saying, oh no, because they could be livid, that this information was leaked. Or it could be a whole load of rubbish and, it's not true. So this is the danger of not only social media, but all media. I mean, when someone like Ashley Banfield, who I say I've got a lot of respect for, normally she is right what she says, and she probably does have very good sources. But the problem is when you get told things like that from a source, and it happens because it's happened with me as well. People tell you things and you think, oh, that's interesting, but you've got to find out if it's true or not. Anybody could tell you anything. Again, I could message Ashley Banfield and say, oh, I'm such and such friend of Nancy Guthrie or whatever, and I know for a fact her brother-in-law was threatening, her son-in-law was threatening her. I could say anything. So you do have to you do have to check that your information is correct. It's not sometimes enough to say it's a source. But it's difficult because the sources will not want their name out there, will they? So you can't say, oh, well, Fred from the police department told me this, because then Fred's going to get in big trouble, isn't he? So, yeah. So it's just, to me, though, I just think it's unusual. If it is proven to be not true, that's nothing to do with the son-in-law, it's not being considered a suspect, and it's a load of cojones, then I would just be surprised at Ashley for saying that, unless she felt that it was true. But, maybe she did think, maybe the source that she got it from is normally reliable, but they're not reliable in this case. Do you know what I mean? In this instance, they're not reliable. So that could be, you've got to be careful what you share before you know the truth, haven't you? So, or you've got to make it clear, like if you're going to talk about it, like it's difficult not to talk about a case like this because people want to know about it, but you've got to make it clear, like I hope I am, that this is what's being said, not facts that are coming from the police. But then you're waiting for the police always to give us the official information. But of course, the police can't keep up with how fast social media works, can they? Anyway, so basically what we do know, so I've shown you the appeal from the family to whoever the kidnapper is. So it turns out there what they were saying there, there's been 2 ransom notes, presumably the same content, one going to TMZ, another one, she said, went to a local news agency in Arizona. Maybe it's the same ransom, or it could be 2 crazies, both putting in ransom notes. Do you know what I mean? That this is, unfortunately, we just don't know. There might be ransom notes received, but we don't know if they're genuine ones or not. The other thing we know for sure is that the crime scene has been secured again after it was all the crime tape was removed, and reporters such as Brian Entin went along there and took videos of the blood on the floor and the smashed door, but there was nothing there to tell them they couldn't go. Now that's been rectified, the crime scene's been re-established, and another fact fact that we know is Nancy still hasn't been found safely. Who would kidnap an 84-year-old woman and ask for a ransom in Bitcoin? Is that what's happened, or do the answers lie closer to home, as claimed by Ashley Banfield and her source, whoever it is? In the meantime, an 84-year-old frail, ill, probably bewildered, heartbroken, confused woman. And I don't mean she's confused because she's got dementia. There's nothing wrong with her mentally. She hasn't wandered off with dementia. But can you imagine how she's feeling? Just literally taken from her home, your home, where you should feel safe, especially when you get to bloody 84 and you've been through whatever life has thrown at you for all those years. And then there you are, just asleep in your own bed, in your own home. And somebody comes and just takes you away. And there's blood involved one way or another. As I said, we don't know yet if that is Nancy's blood, but there was definitely blood. Could be the perpetrator's blood. They could have cut themselves on something, banged themselves. But just the thought of it, poor woman, how, my heart is just broken for her, because how terrified she would be, whatever has happened. She's been rudely awoken in the middle of the night by somebody, whether it's family member or, if it's true what Ashley's source says, or if it is some stranger who just randomly came in and kidnapped her, or maybe they'd been planning it for a while. Maybe they kidnapped her because they knew she was Savannah's mum, and they knew that there would be money, or maybe they kidnapped Nancy, not realizing who she was. And now, of course, this big hoo-ha. Maybe they took her to take her to the cash point or whatever to try and get some money out, and then suddenly it's all over the news. Oh, look who you've kidnapped. They're like, oh, shit, look, I've kidnapped Savannah Guthrie's mum, and it's all over the news, all over America, all over the world. So they're thinking, oh my God, that was a bad idea. They're probably, if they just thought they were kidnapping some old lady, like they might be able to get the PIN number off them and might have money in their account. Now suddenly they realise that they're right in the middle of the, really big sort of story. What they're going to do? Are they going to panic? Or is it them that have put these ransom notes in? Oh my God, truth is definitely stranger than fiction. But at the heart of this, not only is a family brokenhearted, but, my thoughts at the moment, while I know that Nancy may still be alive, I've got to send my positivity out to her. I hope I'm praying for her constantly, that she's okay, that she stays strong, that she comes through this, whatever it is, and is reunited with her family eventually. Okay, so thank you for watching. I want to say thank you to Maria, who sent me a Ko-fi. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you that have donated towards my computer fund, or just watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. I get these lovely emails that I get suggesting cases or asking me what I think about things. Get left lovely messages. Thank you so much, all of you. You really make my day. And prayers for Nancy. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Thank you.